Well, it's been like ages since I did a video, but I did one on Friday or Saturday weekend after the market closed. And I'm pretty proud about this. I don't usually go over what I last said or whatever because it doesn't really matter. But it was Friday after the close. It was the first day that the miners really got hit because on Thursday, even though the market dropped like this, a lot of the gold stocks were up, green or unchanged. So I thought, this market turmoil actually is going to send us to new highs. So I didn't sell like an idiot. And then Friday comes, okay, this is the S&P. But massive smash. All the stocks that did well just basically reversed. First heavy hit day in a long time, probably the worst day. And then I did say over the weekend that Monday will probably flush in the markets, but we'll probably bounce because we got this strong support in the S&P, and they all had their strong support. Look at the Dow. You can't just go through something like that, which is like, formal resistance. So that should be support, but more importantly, ascending support, which I think is always stronger. And they basically bounced, they all bounced. The S&P, the Dow, even the Nasdaq, they bounced. They helped the Russell bounce. Markets bounced. Then what did I say? I said that we'd bounce, and then I don't know if I said it to you guys, but I thought, right, come Tuesday, because that was amazing. That you sell into, right? I sold into that bounce. Everything I bought on this horrible Friday, because I was buying the dip, as I always do, in lots of little tranches. I was selling into it, didn't sell enough, but Tuesday I said, right, I'm placing my sells just below Monday's low of high of day. And I promise you, yesterday, Tuesday, I got like 25 fills, just fill, fill, fill. I just regret not selling more, but they weren't small sales actually. I'm quite proud. It's a bit more than I typically do, but it should have been more because it's obvious you don't just. I thought we would go in and gap fill on Tuesday, and I thought, I mean, still, if we start moving up, I think we're going to go low. But if we start moving up, gap fill, sell into that, and then forget it. You're not going to go all the way back up here. And in the miners, it's even better. If the S&P was to gap fill, the miners would make a tremendous rally back to from whence they came. So sell into that because you're going to be almost flat on your portfolio. But I think we're going to go lower. I think that low of day close. I think the news of 104% tariff is such a trade escalation. I don't see it stopping soon. I see a few countries maybe acquiescing and deals being made, and that could send the markets up because it's all about the short cover rallies in these bear markets. They're extremely aggressive. I mean, take that Monday, that was extremely aggressive, and and I was buying, by the way, at the beginning of the day, um, and I bought the low of day. I really nailed Monday. Tuesday, nailed the sell, but it wasn't enough. Wednesday, what happens now? I think we test the lows. I think we flush the lows. I don't know whether we recover and then close at 480. I think we've got FOMC minutes or something. It's going to get wild, but the trend is down, right? The trend is down. And given Tuesday's close, it's hard to imagine a move up into the gap right now, really. I think we're going to flush. So let's look at the dollar actually, which is a little interesting, coming back down. That sends gold up. The dollar is starting to affect gold. Gold isn't just moving with the markets, it's the kind of sensitive to the dollar again, because that failed for ages, which is fine because the dollar seems to be going down with markets. It's kind of strange. But it's like a tariff play. Markets are going down because tariffs, dollars going down with tariffs. So yield, yeah, yields. Whoa, geez, I didn't expect that. Yields are strong, huh? I think, oh my God, I don't even understand that. That's way too strong. They have been stronger than the dollar, but that's interesting. I mean, normally, if the bonds are going down, sorry, if yields are going down, it's because everyone's buying bonds because everyone's freaked out and stocks are going down. But keep an eye on yields. That's a strong bounce. I'm not sure how to play yields, so I'm not playing yields. I'm not in bonds, although that would have been a good option the last couple of days. Right, gold. Now, gold also bounced on its ascending, right? I marked this as a nice big support, and it absolutely was perfect. Just under 3,000, I said. 2,950, I probably, yeah. Well, basically did that. Next day, there's your little Monday bounce. Yeah, actually, no, sorry. On the Monday bounce, gold didn't do as well. Yes, I remember. Gold didn't do as well. I mean, it was a big drop. It finally did it. It tested. It did bounce kind of with the markets, but that close is nowhere near as good as the general market close. Then you have this Tuesday move, which is quite good. But look at the close, a bit like the markets towards low of day. It's just about holding this ascending. Today, it's early days and we have a lot of news. That's pretty good. And that's where I've got my sort of my sell. So imagine because this is the Wednesday candle. Imagine the markets bounce like this. I'm selling into that again below Tuesday's low of day this time, right? I was selling underneath Monday's low of day on Tuesday. And today, if the GDX, let's say, does this equivalent, I'm going to be nibbling out again. If we have an extra pump, I'm going to be nibbling out again. Because to me, we have to retest the lows and we'll probably flush it. But I think we'll, in the general markets, we'll be flushing the lows anyway. That'll make more sense when I cover the miners. But gold is kind of different to the other metals. Like here's copper, right? Completely down again. Another one which hit its support, by the way. Extremely credible medium term ascending support. That's strong. You can't just go through that. And if you do, you'll come back. It'll be like a fake flush. You should bounce really because it's quite a big smash. Although, whilst copper is sort of holding off okay so far today, it's interesting. Oil is just new lows. Oil is extra weak. That really is your demand side economy barometer, but so is copper. But it's interesting. I'm really paying a lot more attention to copper, oil, as commodities because they kind of go hand in hand with silver. Silver's doing okay. Look at that, by the way. Big smash. I really didn't expect it to go that. I mean, it goes without saying, right? With all the markets, I didn't expect such a smash. Just below 30, here we are, and that was a really good bounce, by the way, on Monday. So, I mean, look at that swing in both directions, huge. Silver stocks were down like 4 or 5%, and then they were up like 8 9%. And you sell into that. You have to sell into that. Retest of old support. A lot of the different charts were sort of they had their own charts, but they kind of coincided with resistance levels. So as the market hit resistance, things like silver hit its own resistance. So I'm really happy about the sell. Should have been more. Today, let's see. Again, I feel like the markets want to go lower, but maybe commodities sort of hold the line because, copper is at a support level. Can't really flush like that. Anything can happen, but I feel like copper's gonna, if it's a red day, then copper will be down like 1% instead of 6 or 7%. So copper, I think, is gonna hold. Oil's already flush, but maybe it's going to come back and reclaim 60 because that's supposed to be a bit of a level. And yeah, silver, maybe that's also going to hold just around or just under $30. Because I mean, this is also a bit of a level, so it could hold. Yes, we could go down to 29, even 20, high 28s if the market just starts going crazy, but then it might rally back and sort of reclaim 29.5. And basically, it'll be saying, I'm kind of trying to create a support here. We need to bounce a bit, 31, who knows, even a bit higher, and then you come back down again. So let's see if some of the commodities, look at that, gold's doing quite well there. That's interesting because the markets. Okay, let's move to the miners because really everything I'm talking about is about the miners. I'm trying to relate everything to the miners without going back to them. So again, another one that hits support. Like it would have been ascending, but that's where you close on Friday. Markets are getting crushed early Monday. You have to go lower. It does that. It tests this. Beautiful. Closes red, but I mean, look at the pump. This is what I was selling, right? You've got GDX basically retesting the first support level from new all-time highs. That is resistance. Look at this 43.5. It's not going to go to 44 just because you like the big round number. It's doing a huge move. The S&P is hitting its own resistance. You sell into that. Tuesday, we're sort of opening where we closed on Monday. Of course, you sell just underneath Monday's high day. Today, what have I got? And I spend all of like late last night placing new sells for all my miners just underneath 43.5, the equivalent of 43.5 in their own charts, right? So it'd be something like this. It'd be, I don't know, it might even be 42.99. So today we rally, 42.9. Okay, sell. Because what's the difference between selling at 42.99? Imagine you're trading GDX, for example, and 43.49 or 43.45. There's nothing. Well, it could just fail at 42 or at 43.01, so you got filled and starts coming down, and your little cells all the way up here, none of them get filled. Because to imagine the GDX going higher than 42.5 and like closing here at 44, well, that means tomorrow we make new highs, which I can't see as justified. So this is a level up here of a resistance. This whole thing here is resistance. And if we overcome this, well, that means the next thing is here. And that's ridiculous to have miners trading at all-time highs, like 52-week highs, you know what I mean? Whilst the market's making new lows and you've got like Nvidia down 40%, just, and I'm talking to myself here, just sell that. So I have a lot of sells and I'll go through them. Maybe it's going to be a long video. I hate that. But otherwise, we come back down and test this like the general markets today. If the because if the general market's flush, then we might flush with it. This is your next level. All these levels are correct, and I'm not going to change my mind, of course. But let's see. But the point is, sell the rallies. Sell the rallies. GDX is okay though. You compare this to other uh charts, it's not that bad at all. SIL is, you can see, worse. Look at that low close. Follow the markets. Follow the markets, and to some extent silver, but basically the markets. If the markets flush, SIL will flush. It's not the same as gold. Gold is real safe haven. Look at that. That's pretty big move for gold actually right now. So those, and I hold quite a bit in gold. Yeah, you're pretty well hedged, I'd say. GDXJ, same thing, close at low of day, next level there and there. That'll go down with the markets. SILJ, the weakest of them all, you can see that's ready to flush there, and then the next level is there. Wow. But that would make sense, the markets have completely gone down, and if they go lower, it's absolute pandemania. So yeah, it makes sense that huge move. Let's see. I mean, if the markets go down and still holds its own, you might just go down here and maybe reclaim 10. And if you have a nice bounce, it's all about the bounce. But I'll tell you what, I bought on Monday, a Friday, Monday, and I sold on Monday also, right? Didn't just buy, I bought early and then sold everything I bought on Friday and early Monday, I sold on Monday. Tuesday, I sold more, trimming probably original positions just because I'm a bit freaked out here because this could be a bit of a long-term thing. I can't see a trend change quickly unless like China says, okay, deal, we lose, you win 0%. I can't imagine that. So it could make new lows, and I just want to buy back what I'm trimming lower. Okay, let's look at the actual portfolio now. After some of those charts, Newmont doesn't look that bad, does it? And look at where it was trading on Monday and Tuesday. What the hell is it doing so high? Because if you close there next day, like I said, it's up all the way up here. So of course this is resistant. So I sold that on Monday and Tuesday and today again. If it starts to go back up towards 47, I'm selling. And I bet you my first sell is like 46, 49 or something, or even maybe even 40. Nah, I don't know. I don't know where I place so many sells, but do you know what I mean? It's before 47 for sure, and it could even be, it's probably 46.29 or something. Sell into it because again, if imagine it goes all the way to 46.30, if you sell, it can only go wrong if it stays above 46.29. It means it stays here and it closes at 46, let's say 50 or whatever. Well, that's amazing news because now it goes up again and you're at all-time highs, and that's so unlikely. And anyway, the amount I've got left in that stock means I make good money and like my account's going to be near all-time highs again, which is ridiculous in this environment. In 2 days, being at all-time highs, of course, you can look at all these other blue chip stocks and they're destroyed, and you buy that because ultimately we're in the miners to make money. And at one point, you're going to sell your miners and buy other stocks. And relatively speaking, we are outperforming the other stocks. So you could do it in 2 days if that's the case. So that's the resistance support. Well, it's going to be low of day, but honestly, I'd get out the way and I'd look for a new low because if we are flushing GDX, everything's making new lows, and you could get new lows. 42 is not that low. We were way lower just a while ago before any bear markets. So let's not think Newmont is sort of really cheap. That I mean, they are, but they can be a lot cheaper. Barrett Gold, look at that low of yesterday's close. If we have a flush, we go back down. The resistance here is less obvious. I would be selling there below, again below yesterday's low, high of day. Let's keep it simple. This I would just say is there's support. Might even be 1730, but I'm looking for cheapness here. You can get a deal on days like this. Agnico Eagle, look how high that was Monday and even yesterday, Tuesday. It went to, back to 104. 104. I was looking forward to 100 a while ago, and I get to sell at 104. What a pleasure. So even though this is always the one that's going to make it, I think we can get this low. I hope this goes lower, this one, because I really want this way cheaper than 100. So your low is going to be 95. That'll be your support around 95. Then you've got here, then you got there. And then you got the retest of the old breakout zone. Remember, this haven't even retested that. So around the 88. So this one, I'm not buying the dip on, even though I wanted one. It's just not dipped enough. This one, let's see how if it can even make lows, because just even in a situation like today, it just doesn't seem to go down much. But trim that one without trimming too much because I know it's going to be the best one that's survived after all of this. Pan American silver. Now this one follows silver, so it's gone lower, although it's the best silver and it's a senior stock. Here we have nice ascending support, so that was nice to buy. Trimming there completely makes sense. Filled the gap again. That is obviously support 23. Sold into it Monday and yesterday. Sold quite a lot yesterday actually because I thought it would go back down and silver would be very sensitive. Level of support, well, obviously the prior low. After that, wow, I don't know. It's going to be some of these horizontals, gap fills, all this. But I'm not really in a hurry. It's worth it. I'm okay with its value just going down and not buying back too soon. I've got to see what happens with silver and the markets and how they react together. But I would be looking at some of these lines, basically. I don't see why I wouldn't. But for now, the first ascending is the first support is just above 20. Wheaton, again, another one that came all the way back to its old support. Amazing, easy. This one's a bit like Nico. I don't expect it to go down too much, but it's more sensitive than Nico. So this one, that's your first level of support. This is your next, I think. And then it gets a bit hard. This is not as obvious, but I'm trying to force it. The real one is the ascending, but for it to go down there, you've got absolute chaos going on in the miners and the markets in the world. So I'd be looking at some of these first, not in a hurry. It goes down slowly. But I tell you what, I do prefer to buy seniors like these, which are basically unchanged. Look at the percentage move yesterday compared to the silver mid tiers, EXK, MAG. Look at that, down 4 or 5%. So even though they're really high up, and I don't like to buy things that that are like not crushed, still they don't get crushed for a reason. So still, like senior gold stocks over mid tier anything, mid tier silver, mid tier gold. The seniors are still the better ones. And then when you think it's really bottom, then you buy the silver, which is what I did on Monday, which is so cool. Next is Franco Nevada, the last of the senior solid ones. This one, just like the others, really. How this can go. This has completely been negated now. This long-term descending, which worked before. Okay, so your support is going to be Monday's low of day. We'll probably test that today. If you go lower, it's this, then it's this, then it's this. I'm just going to let it play out. Does gold drag us higher? If we do, you're selling just below 150. Obviously, big round number. Also resistance last 2 days. Um, yeah, 150. Otherwise, yeah, if gold doesn't seem to drag us up too much and we go down the markets, watch the support levels that I can delete. Metalla, jeez, I hate this stuff. Yeah, I mean it's crap on good days. So, but anyway, yesterday low of day close number one. We are at support. This is just doomed for a flush. If the markets go down, it's worth a bit less now for me, so I care a bit less. But that's because the market value's gone down. The flush, we go to the 230s, absolute support. I can see this one making new lows. It deserves. If you're crap, if you were crap during the good days, well, if we've got a nice flush, oh, that's serious resistance. If we have a nice flush going on everywhere, this deserves a flush to reset it. So this, I can see it flushing 230 if the markets go down. So you've got 250, 230. Let's see what happens. Resistance, I mean, look at resistance. Monday and Tuesday couldn't even get up to 280. So resistance is going to be, this area. I'd be happy when I liquidate this one. I might even, if everything goes down, I might just liquidate Metalla and put it in something else. If something else which is better has gone down more than Metalla, then that's a good thing. Right, let's look at the silver stocks. First Majestic, straight back down to support 520. I didn't buy any. I didn't buy any yesterday. I did my little Monday trades. I was buying basically everything Monday, selling everything high of day Monday. When the S&P and the GDX was hitting its resistance, I didn't care about the particular gold and silver stocks. I was just dumping market orders, certain amounts, bam, bam, bam. Been a long time since I traded like that. And here where it looks, This one, honestly, if today silver starts to crash with the markets, it'll just go lower. And and then that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. But at the moment, that's support. If everything seems to stabilize, then it might be worth buying here. Well, it would be worth buying here because it is support. So you can nibble a little bit, whatever you sold back there, nibble it back here, but always be prepared for the big flush to 460. Otherwise, it's at support. Resistance is going to be the low of the high of days, Monday, Tuesday. I think I've got to sell in also. I can't believe I'm selling at this price, but I have to remember the bigger picture, like 573 or something. If I buy today, I could sell maybe more. I think I've automatically got to sell like 573 if I remember for First Majestic if it pumps. Because it's hard to imagine a pump which closes above, in this case, 580. And then we would pump higher. That's cool. But that means a lot of the miners like are 1 day away from all-time highs, if you remember that GDX and the C. So it's hard to imagine. I hope it happens. I don't really want to go lower right now. Okay, Fortuna. I mean, this one was strong up here, really, really strong. It's a shame. This is the type of stock to bounce when the dust has settled. This one will want to go up because it's wanted to make new highs here. It's forced down because of the markets. Well, here you can see 513. Once that's lost, we retested already. Then I just see us going all the way down to 440. This ascending support. It's basically, and it's the low down here. It makes sense. 430, 440. That's a big move down. Probably won't get there in 1 day, but that's your next obvious level of support. So for me, I'm waiting for that. I'm in no hurry. It's worth more than the other silver stocks, so I don't really want to add to it. I prefer adding to the other ones. But that's really your two levels of support. And obviously resistance obviously is going to be the high of day the last few days. So that one, if you're waiting there, you're not going to get filled. Next is CDE. This one, okay, that makes sense. So there's your obvious level of support. If we flush that, then we're going to start doing the pre and post gap fill levels, these two horizontal levels. I don't see it going there. My CD was worth so much. And okay, I nibbled out here on the way up. I didn't really add much on the way down. And then I added nicely on this sort of Friday, Monday, and then this Monday, Tuesday selling that now it's worth. And normally I'd be like, no, why would I want to sell here? I'm buying here. I want it to go up. I have this psychological blocking. Now I know like that is resistance. If you sell that well done, it will go there. And the amount it's worth now, it's like worth half of what it was worth when it was trading up here. And I'm so happy because it's that much less damage when it flushes and then I can buy back. So I've traded CD quite well compared to how I would normally trade it because I'd have this psychological blocking, like, I don't want to sell. That's no longer support. So yeah, resistance is here. It's basically 540, and if I were you, I'd be selling at 529. And if silver or the miners start to be extra strong, oh no, I sold too low. It doesn't matter because the next pump to the next level at $6, that's definitely a sell, right? And if it keeps going, short it because there's no reason for CD to go all the way up to 680. You'd need like all the markets to reverse, and there'd be some news that basically changes the thesis to the point where miners and the markets start everything's a buy. And if that doesn't happen, you should be selling into these pumps. So yeah, support is 460. Next support is 4. Don't need to mark it every time yellow. It's obvious where the white line is. But and your resistance is 540, just below. Next is Heckler. So that's no longer support. Your support is down here, 450. Resistance is here, $5. You're selling today. I'm probably got my sales in at 499. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And I'd be watching if we crack 440, and if we do, which is your support, then you got $4. Quite simple. 455, pretty much. Or 440. Yeah. Yeah, you could say 454, 455. Those are your levels. Nice and simple. I'm not in a hurry to buy this one because this one, I mean, if it starts to stabilize here with the whole markets at their low of day, then I'd probably nibble. Honestly, I'd probably nibble all the miners if the markets have sort of flushed and they're starting to stabilize around their low of Monday, then I might buy in case we start to rally again. But those, yeah, that's how I'd play it. All right, EXK, your resistance is around 350. Your support is now around 3, whatever. And you have support underneath, like all the stocks. Those are your levels. That was a nice, obvious resistance, right? 350, prior support, prior support. It's come down a lot, but it can go down a lot. Who knows? We can go all the way back down to low ones or at least low twos. So this one I'm watching again, how it acts on low of day with the markets. Look at Mag Silver, bad news, took it to new lows already. This one, any sign of trouble today, and we're going to go test below 12. So this one, and I'm thankful this one I also sold on Monday, Tuesday. It's worth a lot less today, Wednesday morning, than it was Monday morning after my buy, after it started to rise all the way back up here. 14 bucks was your resistance, sell into that. And now your support is currently around 1250 where it closed. Yeah, those are your levels. So 1150, 1170, you could say, 1250, 14. Those are levels to play. Sell on the way up, watch here, and then if we flush, which I think we will down there. Next, Aris Mining. That closing low of day. Yeah, for me, this is absolutely guaranteed a move to low fours, like 410, even lower. A retest of this descending breakout. Look how strong it was doing. So it shouldn't be too weak. But retested there. After that, I'm in no hurry for this one. No hurry. I like the stock, but I'm not, dying to buy this one like the others. But yeah, this one should flush even if the markets are fine. I just feel like it needs that retest. After this, not as obvious. Not as obvious. Mid threes, high threes somewhere. Resistance looks like it's here. 450. There you go. That's all I'll do for this one. It's not going higher than that. I am gold, which had a green day yesterday. Resistance was $6. Still is. Support is going to be Monday's low of day. 540. Next support is going to be $5. Very simple. A lot of them have this simplicity to their levels, like 50-cent increments. Boom, boom, boom. Although it closed quite well today. So if the market stabilized, you could. It sounds weird, but you could have I am gold. If there's an extra bounce, like today's okay, and then the next day is a bounce, you could start testing like 650 all-time highs, and that is a sell. But if the markets keep going, new all-time high, that would be such a strong stock to hold. But you got to nibble out. B2 gold, clearly 3 days in a row showing you where resistance is, 280. Support is going to be 250, just above 250. And then you've got your next levels down here, this big area starting there. So B2 gold, quite simple. Equinox. I mean, the chart is quite nice, compared to all the other markets crashing. This one, obviously, it's just had its merger, double top, flushed. Makes sense. It has to. Support is 560, but we closed kind of low. If we flush that, I see ascending support around. Well, we're going to do it now around 530. And your resistance, you have to respect the fact that it's before here, it's there. Basically, just $6, but a bit higher, let's say. But you might as well sell at 5.99 to make sure you get it. There you go. And finally, SPSW, absolute colossal smash. This one is so sensitive to market mayhem. So this goes down the market. This, which was doing so well, fake triple flush, it was on its way up. If we have a recession, this one really suffers. The business model it has, like it's so sensitive to recession and to commodity prices going down, copper, palladium, platinum, all this stuff. This is just any moment going to flush with the markets, and this I'm not buying. I know what this is. This is a flush down, and I didn't remember to sell this one. It's a shame. I don't class it as gold and silver miners really. This is going to go down to like mid twos. So this one, I'm just standing back, see what happens. I might just never buy it, and then after the recession, see how it performs. But this one, I'm ready for a serious flush any moment. All right. Oh, I usually cover SSRM, but I'm no longer doing it. I just rearranged my portfolio because my trading view got completely jumbled up. So, all right, sorry for the long video. In short, we are following the miners. Sorry, we're following the markets. The miners are following the markets. I think the markets are not done going down. If they go up, it can be aggressive short-term rally, short covering rally. Sell into it just below yesterday's high of day. That's generally the rule. But on the way down, I'm not aggressively buying. It's small tranches in all these stocks at their own particular levels, but I'm watching the general markets because they take down the miners. And at the moment, it looks like they want to go lower, and we may have already had the bounce of the week. So good luck and always keep dry powder because psychologically you need it. If you're all in, all you can do is just pray, and that's a horrible situation to be in. If you've got dry powder, you've always got that little part of you that wants it low because you'll always find stocks you want to enter. All right, good luck.